it seems that the WBO will not be ordering a rematch between their heavyweight champion Joseph Parker and Hughie Fury. So I'm going to quote from WBO Vice President John Duggan here directly. He says, "I think he won the fight." And he's talking about Joseph Parker here. He says, "I think he won the fight. I think he won a close fight. Just because the score was wide doesn't mean it wasn't close. With the way boxing scored, you can have an extremely close fight and have a boxer win every round by a close margin. That happens quite a bit. I thought the score of 118-110 was regular, and I thought the score 114-114 was somewhat unusual. Parker deserved the win. He boxed courageously in a hostile environment." So as I say, those are the words of WBO Vice President John Duggan. He's fully backing the judges' scorecards. And a lot of you may be incensed by the fact that he said the 118-110 scorecard that two judges had was regular, as in it was perfectly legit. The only scorecard he had an issue with was 114-114. I have to admit, that's a head scratcher for me, people, because I thought 114-114 was a more realistic score than 118-110. One thing I can say about the Parker Fury fight was that Hughie Fury had the more confident and comfortable body language throughout the fight, and that may have influenced people's perception of how the fight was going and who was winning. The fact that Hughie Fury appeared to be more comfortable and Joseph Parker had a look of desperation about him throughout the fight. But in terms of actual clean punches landed, there was very little to separate them in a lot of the rounds, and Hughie Fury's jab was hitting gloves most of the time. I will acknowledge this, but as I say, not much to split them in terms of punches landed in a lot of the rounds. So how could Joseph Parker be getting every single round? You can't say that his aggression was effective in every single round to be having, or the vast majority of rounds to be having 118-110 scores. I mean, that's giving Hughie Fury, what, 2 rounds? Surely not. I don't know what to say, what else to say about it, people. You let me know what you think. The WBO, as I've said before, have a very close relationship with Fisheyes. So would this have happened if this had been a Fisheyes show rather than a Mick Hennessy show? That's the question I keep asking myself. Would this have happened on a Fisheyes show? Fisheyes was one of the people, in fact, I believe he was the main person who helped get the WBO on their feet in the early 90s when they were really not a recognized sanctioning body. The WBO was initially formed by a bunch of disgruntled former members of the WBA. They left the WBA for whatever reason. They were unhappy. They started the WBO, but it wasn't recognized as a legitimate sanctioning body. But Fisheyes put a lot of his fighters in title fights for the WBO belts. And eventually over the years, that did help them to become a recognized sanctioning body. And it took a long time. It probably wasn't even until the 2000s when the, excuse me, when the WBO really became recognized, and Fisheyes did help that. So he's always had a good relationship with them, and Fisheyes is the reason why Tyson Fury got a shot at the WBO belt. He's probably the reason why Hughie Fury got a shot at the WBO belt. I mean, we've seen his other fighters like Liam Smith. He was WBO champion. You've got Billy Joe Saunders, also WBO champion. So, you know, when it comes to Fisheyes, the WBO and him are very, very tight. So would this have happened if it was a Fisheyes show? Who knows? Drop your comments in the comment section below, people. Let me know how you feel. Are you upset by this, that the WBO are trying to defend these scorecards and it's looking as though there will be no rematch ordered? Yeah, drop your comments below. It's happening. I'm out.